We're back, everyone, and well, we're not Samito in the Grand Central, but we're still here. Sam had to get ready for his open division match, and Devin, being from Cincinnati, had to cast our next team
I
here.
simply had to. Listen, I understand that as a color caster and as an analyst, it is imperative for me to be unbiased and objective and stick only with the numbers at all times. But this is the one time I make an exception. I am going to be unabashedly biased for the University of Cincinnati here. I am from Cincinnati. I was born and raised in Cincinnati. I graduated from the University of Cincinnati. I literally founded the University of Cincinnati Overwatch Club. I was the president of it for 3 years. There are 2 members of the University of Cincinnati on the stage right now that have jerseys with my name on it because they didn't have one and they borrowed it from me, okay? Those are my guys, okay? Those are my guys right there in those chairs on screen right now. I'm honestly so proud of how far this organization has come. And by the way, there is your qualifier matches for the University of Cincinnati. And when you look at this qualifier schedule, you see they were up against Converse. They were up against CIU. They actually beat CIU, the number 4 seed. They also had to go up against their own B team. They had to go up against Blinn, OSU Scarlet, and Northeastern. Like, this is a lot. This is a tough qualifier schedule for the University of Cincinnati, and they got through it. They got to the LAN, even though it was at the number 15 seed. They were able to qualify, and even though they lost in round 1 to Converse in a pretty, honestly, we've mentioned a fairly close matchup, they did end up beating Kennesaw State in losers bracket round 1, which was unstreamed, unfortunately, because I was watching and my heart was pounding. It was a 2-0, but it was 2 incredibly close matches that went down to one last fight. And they're still here. They survived. They advance, and they continue on against Louisiana State.
Yeah, and let's take a look at them. Let's take a look at their. They definitely have not won yet, but we've got that graphic ready just in case. But here's their qualifier round. They beat Northeastern, but I believe that's because of them coming late into the qualifiers.
This is true.
So take that with a grain of salt, obviously. But then you go in, keep on looking down here, and then you see some. They beat. Sorry, I was about to say they beat University of South Florida, but that's just not the case. I don't.
Louisiana State's a really interesting case because they actually lost to South Florida in the qualifiers, but when it came to LAN, a completely different environment, right? They went through. You see them on the fourth one down there on round 1. They actually came in and they beat South Florida, getting their revenge for the qualifier match. Unfortunately, they do end up falling to the CIU Rams in round 2, so that's why they end up falling down to the losers bracket. But still, already a pretty impressive run from the number 12 overall seed, trying to continue it here. They are technically the higher seed here when it comes to it's the 12 seed versus the number 15 seed in Cincinnati Red. But I think that this is very much a match that could go either way very easily. I'm obviously biased, but I think UC has already pretty significantly outplaced their number 15 seed, and they have a really good shot to continue doing that.
Yeah, I was looking at the bracket there, and I'm really excited for that semifinals matchup between CIU and Maryville.
That could be really fun.
Like I said, when we cast them earlier, they're my dark horse. They could take at least a map off of that Maryville squad.
Sure.
But let's get back to this. You know Cincinnati. You know what they're probably going to be running here on our first map, I believe, which is going to be Ilios. I don't think Lijiang Tower is the correct one.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually know. It could be Lijiang Tower pretty easily. They swapped it over. Yeah, okay. It is Ilios. I will say, so Cincinnati, obviously, because LSU is literally right there on the stage, I'm not going to say exactly what I think they're going to run. But I think Ilios does, in the same vein as Busan, actually does lend itself very well to kind of dive or rush-based compositions, comps that are really good at being able to close large distances very quickly, because when it comes to maps like Well or maps like Lighthouse, it's a fairly open area, right? So it's all about being able to take and retain control over this space for significant periods of time.
My question is to you, Dividing. Are we going to see some Roadhog come out on Well?
I would love to see it. I don't know if we will. Roadhog, of course, has kind of become a bit all Reginald right at camera. love the smile. But I do think I would love to see it on Well. I'm not 100% sure, because Roadhog has kind of faded into the background as a tank pick as of recently. I'd be psyched to see it, though I'm not 100% sure. I'm saying probably not, but I would be ecstatic to see it happen.
I'm just cheesing on camera right now.
Yeah, as you do.
I mean, hey, as you do.
And here's something that I want to point out, is because when Cincinnati was here last year, they had some winnable matchups in bracket. Didn't end up working out too well for them, and they credit it to being uncomfortable on stage, uncomfortable on stream. When you're playing and you're just like a club team and you don't have a facility to practice in, and you're just playing on your own separate setups, and then all of a sudden you got just like a ton of different stuff going on when it comes to LAN, so many moving parts, it's so different. This year, and we'll get to this player highlight in a second, just keep it on screen. This year, I'm seeing a Cincinnati that's a lot more comfortable. You see them, they're playing around with the camera. They kind of have those first round jitters out of their system. And because of that, being comfortable, having that confidence is honestly like more than half the battle when it comes to LAN.
All right, now let's head over to the player highlight that we have on screen for you here. We've got Splash, I believe one of the DPS players, if I'm not mistaken.
One of the DPS. I think it's one of the DPS players.
So 7.6k damage per 10 and 7.34 deaths per 10. Depending on what they're playing, obviously is can really skew those deaths if they're like on a tracer or something like that. That's still a very good stuff for them, especially if they're on the tracer with the 4.49 final blows.
Yeah, really nice, really nicely done. I think LSU is a team that's coming in as kind of a bit of a dark horse, right? People haven't really been paying much attention to this team prior to this event, but they got through the qualifiers. They got through it pretty well, and again, it's just all about getting yourself a seat at the table, right? And being able to say, hey, we are here, we are at LAN, and we are going to play as hard as we possibly can as we are heading into Ilios right now. It's University of Cincinnati versus LSU. We are in the loser's bracket, ladies and gentlemen. The loser of this best of 3 is going to be going home, will not be going any farther in this tournament.
And it's all starting out on the infamous Well here, as Nacho in the chat. But that's the best thing about LAN 2. Just the interactions between the teams. I mean, come on. But let's take a look at these compositions right now. We've got Louisiana State currently hovering over the Far Mercy.
Yeah, and actually, when you're looking at what Cincinnati Red is doing, it's going to depend a lot on what Eric is going to play, but Chu immediately on the Mei. I know that Chu is very, very confident in that Mei play. Going to be very difficult to snipe a Far Mercy out of the air with those icicles. It's going to come down to, and Eric on the Genji. So the Mei Genji is going to be very difficult to deal with the Far Mercy with those projectile heroes on DPS.
It definitely is, as Cincinnati trying to get some hold on to the point right now, but hey, maybe the rat on the far, like you said, it's going to be very difficult for them to deal with the projectile DPS for you, Cincinnati. Right now is going in, pumping in that damage from the far, looking for those directs, but hey, in the midst of all that, the University of Cincinnati turning it around, finding 4 picks of their own, finding that last pick with the rocket punch, team kill coming through and taking that first fight.
Very well done. Again, it was really rough there at the beginning from Cincinnati as Darak got early pick early on, but they were able to hang around in that gazebo, make it very difficult for Durat on that Pharah to be able to poke in with those missiles, and because of that, they stayed alive long enough for the openings to reveal themselves.
Yeah, as they come in here, the stuns coming into the tank rolls. They were playing a dicey game on the edge of the well, and Andog goes down early on to splash, but a nice boop comes through from Reginald, taking him down the hole, and this should be still anyone's point, but with a nice pick from the Rat on the Hanzo swap in the midst of all of that.
UC has the Blizzard if they want.
They're all gonna go in,
Never
but
mind.
the Blizzard's gonna be used
Yeah,
by Chu, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to really turn the tide of this fight, unless they can find the pick onto Ehu on the tank roll, but it does not seem to be the case. The meter strike coming out, trying to stay alive. Still, Cincinnati able to stay alive, still accruing percentage for them, and they have not given anything up. Fuji going down, Eric getting in that revenge kill. It's still looking good for LSU at the moment as Durat finds two, and the finally swept flips to them.
And while Cincinnati did use several ultimates, the Meteor Strike, the Blizzard namely, they basically got a fight's worth of percentage points out of it pretty easily, right? And they were able to pretty quickly gain... It seemed like Louisiana State had the fight under control when there was about 30% on the point in favor of Cincinnati, but instead you have 60% by the time they finally get it the flip, and you force both support ultimates out of LSU instead. So this is really, really good for Cincinnati overall, because they're going to be coming back into this fight with both of their support ultimates up. So we do have a DC on the side of LSU, which, by the way, like, how do you do that on land?
I don't know.
It's so it is going to be a DC for LSU. Hopefully we'll get that player back in just a moment. But when we come back, you force both support ultimates out of LSU, and you're going to be coming into this next one with both of your support ultimates. And that's just a massive advantage.
You know, I think, funnily enough, this is Durat's second DC on
Really?
because they remember they DC'd against UCF in their on that push map with like 15 seconds to go. We were quite,
oh right, I remember that.
so I mean, that was so I think this is their second their second DC of the LAN, which is funny enough.
My goodness. Yeah, so we do have a back into the lobby now, so we should be getting back into this very quickly. As, again, so here's the state of the fight right now. We've got ourselves LSU currently with control of the point. It's 11% to 63%. UC has the Kitsune Rush and the beat coming up in this next fight, but you do have a shatter from Ehud. So if you were able to knock a couple members of UC on the ground early, force the beat out of Reginald, actually UC just walks in and takes the point.
I mean, they kind of had to. Durat was not with the team, but
I guess that's true.
They should have at least tried to keep that percentage going. As Andog comes in with a pick onto Durat early on, and a nice boot comes in from Reginald yet again, taking Ehud out of the fight, and that shatter no longer relevant as it's up to last fight territory here now.
That honestly does suck that Durat did, it sucks that Durat, okay, now we have calls for pause from Louisiana. I'm not sure what that's coming up with, but yeah, it does suck that Durat was not able to come back into the game, wasn't able to come back into the game, and had to come back from spawn. But I just wish that LSU had was at least just keeping themselves on the point and tiptoeing on and off. Because what they did was they just backed off, and they gave all of the space and therefore all of the power to Cincinnati. Because now they have the point back. It's 92%, and Reginald was able to hold on to the beat.
Yeah. And I was just looking at...
I think someone got stuck in a tree.
Yeah. So I'm listening, but I'm not really listening. I'm trying to figure out what the heck actually happened for the reason for the pause. But like you said, they didn't have to hold the beat on it. They're coming up to these ultimates as well. But the shatter comes out. No one can touch though.
No!
That was so close. Ilios. They had Reginald shattered down before they could use the beat. That would have been a huge entry pick for LSU, but unfortunately, they weren't able to get there.
I will say, Nacho was there with the Protective Suzu to get Reginald back up, so I don't think Reginald would have died right there, but it would have been a lot of pressure on that Lucio early on, would have forced out an early beat for sure, and then who knows what would have happened. But unfortunately, no one was able to touch in time, so it is going to be Cincinnati taking point 1 on Ilios as we move over onto Lighthouse. Things are a little more open here, which is going to open things back up for the Pharah from Darat. Notably, not a Far Mercy. You're still going to be playing the Kiriko. Oh, sorry. It's just a speed boost out of spawn, and then Base Rhythm's going to move on to the Mercy. So we're back to the Far Mercy, and again, no pure hit scan heroes from Cincinnati. The closest thing is going to be Chu again on the Hanzo this time.
Yeah, and I think they gotta stick with it more than just one fight this time. It was working well, but they gotta get these directs, and they're laying in them currently. They need to get more of them. That damage is coming out. They need to find a pick, and they need to find it quickly though before UC can get this point. As they come in with the DMEC on the EHOOP, and that should be good for University of Cincinnati. They do lose Chu in the end, but it's still Cincinnati on the point. They have this point control. That should be their fight.
Yeah, once again, Cincinnati are playing very smartly behind cover. They're basically just underneath the Lighthouse point entirely, and so instead of having full control of the sky, Surat just has these little windows of opportunity to try and put in these missiles, and it is so difficult. Even though you do have that barrage up now, it is still very difficult to be able to get multiple hits on these UC players in a row, and that's what you need to do to secure a pick.
Yeah, and they do come in yet again with the DMEC onto EHOOP as they're still looking to figure this out, figure out a way to get through this as Eric finds Bass out of the sky, and Nacho follows it up quickly after with the Pharah. As University of Cincinnati is still holding on strong here, dividing.
Yeah, still holding on very strong, and that was one fight, basically, that dragged on for over 50%. Louisiana State cannot afford another fight to go that long. That being said, you do have the barrage once again from the Rot. If you can try and get yourself set up for that, you're almost up to the EMP. You're up to almost both support ults as well, but 5 ultimates coming up from Cincinnati.
Yeah, and that had to be their fight, but they lost already in that fight. They used the barrage. They didn't find anything with it. As the Sound Mirror comes out,
no
the Dragon Strike comes out from University of Cincinnati, and they're able to continue this hold on the point, and it's getting down to the last fight or the penultimate fight here.
Yeah, this could be last fight. You have Meteor Strike, you have Blade coming out from Eric, but a nice EMP from Splash is going to finally open things up for LSU. And Cincinnati are going to hold on to their ultimates for now, knowing that all they really need to get rid of... Okay, Andog has 2. Andog has 2. There's a chance. Hacked up, taken down. Okay. Again, all that Cincinnati really needs is one fight win, but you've put enough of uncertainty into the next fight for LSU. They have to wait for a couple people to come back, which is why you see Cincinnati poking and prodding a little bit aggressively now.
Yeah, they're forced.
No one's on point.
They're just gonna let them walk to the point here. What's going on? They need to touch. No, they didn't. They let them get the point back for free. The Dragon Blade coming out from Eric, looking for some anyone, but they don't need the blade in the end. All the damage comes out for the rest of University of Cincinnati as they're able to take this round. Can someone touch from LSU? It does not look to be the case as UC takes round or map number 1.
Beautifully done from Cincinnati, and in a way that I think was a little bit unorthodox, because the main curveball that LSU threw at Cincinnati was the Far Mercy. And in a lot of cases, no one ranked to go, oh, there's a Pharah, we should go hit scan. I don't think Cincinnati played a single hit scan hero that entire map. Instead, they made Durat's job on Pharah as difficult as possible by playing around natural cover and making it extremely difficult for them to just find someone out in open space to get multiple direct hits on in a row. Durat showed that when there were people out in open space, you were able to get those picks, but because Cincinnati were always huddling around those like kind of gazebo areas or points where you could kind of get some cover from above, it was almost impossible for Durat to do their job effectively. So, as we head into map 2, this is LSU's pick. It is going to be Blizzard World. What do you think about this pick from LSU?
I don't know. They were playing a lot of Rhine, I feel like, so it's an interesting pick for Blizzard World. I've always, besides Third Point, I've always liked more mobile tanks, like a Diva, like a Winston, like a Wrecking Ball on those first 2 points. Going into point 3, that's where it comes all to a brawl, the brawl central of Blizzard World. So I'm interested to see if LSU has that dive or that poke comp in the back of their pocket here, so they can tie up the series, so they're not out of this.
Yeah, I will say, if they do want to keep on running the Pharah, there is an opportunity on points A and B. It is kind of pretty open skies, and in fact, because of kind of the network of high grounds that you have at point B, it makes it a little bit easier as far as if you're not playing a hit scan like Cincinnati seems averse to, that then you'll be able to be a little bit closer. That being said, we do have a sub coming in for Cincinnati. It's going to be FaZe coming in for Eric, and FaZe is kind of like, if you need a traditional hit scan player, that's going to be FaZe. FaZe is actually in. I am going to point this out because, again, here's the Cincinnati bias coming in. FaZe came up absolutely clutch during UC's game against Kennesaw. I was watching, came up with a 4K at the end. It was so. I'll set the scene. It was Kennesaw versus Cincinnati at the end of Paradiso, and everyone was dead pretty much except for FaZe on Sojourn. Pops the overclock. No one's looking at the Sojourn. Gets a 3K with the overclock. Picks up a 4th one after the overclock goes away, and is able to basically single-handedly push the cart across the finish line. And then Cincinnati was able to win in extra rounds.
Dang.
It's actually...
That's incredible.
One of the most clutch things I've ever seen at LAN, period.
Yeah. And I mean, we have a Andog player to highlight here.
Ew, hello.
As that, for a tank player, 4.47 deaths per 10?
Insane.
That's incredible. And then attack on the over 10.7 K damage per 10. They're doing work. They're doing work for Cincinnati. That's a huge reason why they're doing so well right now.
And you're not even playing like Wrecking Ball, which is the hero, like we mentioned before, for Andy, was able to just kind of get away really quick. And Dog, we've got Andy for UK and Dog for Cincinnati. It's funny. You got Andy, and Dog is playing a lot of Doomfist, a lot of Ramatra, a lot of Junker Queen. Like, these are not heroes that are like if you're in trouble, you're going to be able to quickly get away. Is my point. This is Andog knowing how far you can go in on these heroes extremely well, and the support line of Cincinnati doing a great job of keeping their tank alive.
I'm looking at that trophy.
The trophy's pretty clean.
It's kind of clean. I'm excited to see whoever hoists that tomorrow. But do we have another sub coming in for?
I don't know. Cincinnati's swapping some things around. So so when it comes to LAN, it's not just like moving people in the lobby. It means we have to actually. The person has to get up off of the computer, leave, take all the peripherals, and then the new person has to come in, put their peripherals in, and then log into the game. So it's a bit of a process. So that's why we have a bit of an extended break here between maps 1 and 2.
Yeah. So I think we have FaZe. FaZe still getting set up. Okay. So that's one thing I believe, and then. We just don't know about the second DPS player currently for
I think it's probably still going to be true. If I had to guess, might have been like, oh, this is going to be a minute. I'm just going to go on to in aim trainer custom mode and just do that for a little bit. you gotta make sure you're staying warm.
Yeah, okay. Chu is back in the lobby, so no other swaps coming in, at least at the moment. But other than that, Blizzard, I talked about what I like on Blizzard World Dividing. What do you like on Blizzard World?
I like the scenery.
Okay, fair enough. And it's rainy Blizzard World too?
It is a rainy Blizzard World, which is very interesting. A rainy day. No one likes a rainy day at a theme park, but it does offer a very interesting sort of ambiance to the whole deal. I do really like how the high ground works on point B. I think geometrically it's really nice, and it offers a lot of different chances for the defense to find advantageous positions no matter where the attackers are set up. I also like that there are balloons on point A, and you can pop them.
I do like that. I do indeed pop them. And if you don't pop... I feel like if you don't pop them and you don't break the railings, you lose. I mean, you've got to do it. I mean, it's just Overwatch tradition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is simply it's your birthday. It is happy birthday.
And we still haven't seen that yet. We still haven't seen it.
No one's going Reaper. And at the end of the day, Reaper is kind of in this current meta. It's like if someone's going Winston, then Reaper's a really good counter to Winston. And if you're going Brawl and you want to just go straight up close and you want to try and win the battle straight on, that's when you see the Reaper. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that kind of playstyle come out very much today. So hopefully we'll be able to see it at some point. But as of the way things are going right now, it's not looking super likely.
Man, because I really like that Reaper guy.
I really like that Reaper guy. Special move.
Comes for the side.
Comes from the side.
But I think we are still waiting for the readies from at least Cincinnati. To rat in chat saying he's biting the cords like a rat.
What happened there? There's just some interesting. I will say. It's a very windy day here at Kentucky, so that might be contributing to some inconsistencies with the internet. But we are in the game now. We're in on Blizzard World once again. LSU's tournament lives on the line here, Josh. If they lose this one, they will be going home and loses round 2. They have to even things up here on Blizzard World to keep themselves alive.
Yeah, they really do, and let's see how they intend to do it, or at least start to. As right now, we're seeing kind of a Brawl composition with Durat instead of a Cassidy or a Reaper on the Hanzo and Ihu on the Ramatra.
Yeah, actually really interested to see. Listen. You can't get faked out like that. No, it's very much kind of the new age Brawl comp, because instead of Cassidy, which is you go in Hanzo, which is a lot less consistent than the Cassidy, but it does offer that one-shot potential with the headshots, which is absolutely massive. And then Ramatra, of course, is very good at being able, as I said, it's a tempo tank, right? That's what Blizzard kept on saying when they released him, and being able to swap onto that Nemesis form and just chase down members of the other team is massive. You see, though, they're going for a, okay, it was a double sniper, but FaZe is going to go ahead and swap over onto the Tracer. No, swap over onto the Genji, actually. After seeing a little bit of what Louisiana State had to offer, they say, oh, it's a Brawl that we're going for. Maybe we can play Genji and go a little bit more up close.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, though. That Ravenous Vortex slowing people down is huge for Ihu. But, well, they're super low right now. They might be out of this fight, so they might have to worry about it, really, at the moment. But, and well, look at that nice shot coming in from Chu to take things into the favor of University of Cincinnati. They're pushing back LSU, forcing them away.
My goodness.
Back to spawn. FaZe on the Genji, finding Splash as well, trying to get those retreating supports, but they're not going to be able to do that. But in the midst of all that, they captured the first point.
My goodness. I mean, Chu is doing so much right now. Already has the Dragon Strike. That is crazy. Durat is at 37%.
And they beat Fuji to Amp Matrix, which is even huge because that's always the first ultimate in any game, as they're coming in trying to stop this from getting around the corner here. They're at finding FaZe out of the fight, could be huge, but Shu, like you said, has this Dragon Strike. That's a huge initiator that University of Cincinnati can use in fight 3.
Oh my God!
Coming in with the clutch Dragon Strike, opening things up for University of Cincinnati, finding another pick. Can they find a 5th? They find the 4 kills.
My goodness. And that was such great patience from Chu. So easily could have let that go early on in that fight, but waited until LSU had committed and waited until that they were like messed up and they were
Stone Cold.
Yeah, Stone Cold Killer right there. Waited until they had committed to the choke point, and that's when you let it go.
That's crazy. He was stone cold the entire time. I would have been jumping for joy with a 3K Dragon Strike, especially on land. But now they're coming in here. They've got this Kitsune rush available. That extra speed, that extra damage was coming out from UC as this meteor strike comes through, takes away the immortality field, and takes away the rat after that. The Blizzard comes in from Splash, though. They're trying to stop UC's push. This has been a massive push coming in, but FaZe uses that Dragon Blade, can't find anything with it. They only find the Swan thanks to Ehud's hammer as they're continuing to hold on for the moment. Maybe not, though. Andog on the Doomfist finds out Fuji, and a nice shot comes in from Chu on the Hanzo. They're able to continue to push forward, and they're able to pull back the fight and take the second point.
I am so impressed. I mean, listen, I am biased. I am biased towards UC completely. The fact that they were able to stay into that fight when it looked completely lost and be able to turn it around like that, not even I was expecting that out of this team. This is as good as I've ever seen this team play right now, and Andog and Shu are combining together to make just one of the deadliest combos in the entire LAN event right now.
Yeah, but Bastard coming back strong. They've got Andog out of the fight, but hey, look at that. UC takes that, FaZe takes out Ehud, so it's even all around. No tanks on the board yet, but it's going to be easier for Andog to get back with those movement abilities, and look at that. Right on cue, back with the team, and they've got their Meteor Strike available here.
Meteor Strike as well as the Kitsune Rush coming up in just a moment from Nacho, but this Amp Matrix is going to make it very difficult for UC to engage. FaZe very low, and the Shatter gets 2, but the protective Suzu is right there. What great reflexes from Nacho.
And the Meteor Strike now coming out from Andog, taking the rat out, and everything going up. You see it's all already in the kill feed for University of Cincinnati right now, as they're looking to complete this with almost probably over 33 minutes on the clock.
This could so easily. Again, look, there it is. They are on the ground for half a second before the protective Suzu comes in. Crazy great stuff. And now Louisiana State are looking depleted on ult. UC has the Dragon Strike. They're going to let it fly.
Yeah, the strike comes through, but not going to find the picks that they would have hoped to. As the Icicle finds the head of Nacho, forces them back. That's huge. That's a lot of healing and a lot of abilities gone now on the side of University of Cincinnati. That's going to be huge. LSU are going to be able to stabilize their defense because of it.
Really nicely done overall from LSU, and now that they're able to hold here, this is the best spot to hold, right? Because your spawn point is right outside where the card is. You have a lot of nice defensive ultimates. The Blizzard from Splash is going to be huge, especially if you can force the beat out from Reginald early.
Yeah, as they're looking for something here as the Sound Barrier comes out here. The Amp Matrix in response from Fuji. There's the Blizzard coming out. Can they kite around it, or are they able to stay alive? And, well, it's the latter. Obviously, they found 3 picks. The nice Sleep Dart coming through. Bass Rhythm, though, on that. Lucio finding 2 picks for LSU. They're still in this fight.
They got a touch. They got a touch.
Indeed, and Ehud gets there at the 11th hour. 0.07 meters on the board. And the respawn's now going to come back without the nano boost is available onto Andog. This should be all but over for the attacking phase as they're cleaning up the cart as University of Cincinnati complete all 3 points.
And again, Cincinnati, even though you saw the Blizzard used early and LSU got a couple of picks, the remaining members of Cincinnati, they kept fighting. Someone in that call is screaming, winnable, 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 and they just keep on fighting. They keep on buying time for the respawns to come in, and they wait for the opening to appear, and eventually it happens. They just wait long enough for Nacho to get the nano boost up, puts it onto Andog, and that is all that they need. So now, University of Cincinnati are just one successful defense away from being able to move forward in the loser's bracket. Louisiana State has to find an answer here and now.
They really do, and they're attempting to take a page out of University of Cincinnati's book. Ehud currently on the Doomfist, but obviously that can change. They are the attacking squad. That's not going to change, however, for University of Cincinnati, at least for this first fight, and they're going out on that Doomfist, which has been serving them so well throughout this series so far. This time, though, FaZe on the Sojourn.
Yeah, it's going to offer Cincinnati a little bit of that long-range DPS that you're really kind of looking for on defense Wizard World, with all of the high grounds that you have available to you. And I will say, with the DPS that Louisiana State's going with right now, Cassidy and Tracer, you really don't have a great long-range option that's going to be able to counter these railgun shots that are going to be coming in from FaZe.
They're looking to come in here, trying to dive on top, and it's going to work out well. They've already taken Reginald out. Now they're looking for more from the rest of LSU. They've got to get cracked open this defense on the point before Reginald can get back from the spawn. Now they're going to go rotate to the point, and they take out FaZe, which is huge. Ehud on the Doomfist is able to do some work trying to replicate Andog's success on round 1. The googly eyes are just killing me and you right now. But a nice anti-nade coming back in for Cincinnati. They might be able to hold on to this just because of that play. Now they're looking for more. Who will be able to find this next pick? And that could really decide this fight. And they're still looking for it. That nice healing is coming in from Nacho to keep up everyone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, don't tell me they do it again.
I don't know how they're able to hold on to this point for the time being.
Again, I think it really does come down. Nacho does it again with a nice anti-nade kill on the splash that's able to give UC the opening to continue holding. That being said, LSU, they're going to continue fighting, continue playing. You've got the Meteor Strike from Ehud, and that's 2 quick picks from LSU. However, there's the Blizzard from Chu that's going to lock down spawn for the moment. Once again, LSU already have 2 ticks, only need to get 1 more. Can you finish off Chu? Darat got it. And this should be point A captured from the Tigers.
Yeah, and they did it without having to use any of the ultimates they're building up. They've got 5 now on the board for LSU, pretty much. It's going to be maybe not for the fight, but eventually it's going to be all 5 on the board.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, very quickly. You got it from Splash now. Ehud's only 10% away. It's going to be a 5 ultimate fight here for LSU. So how well are you going to be able to budget those ultimates? You use them all in one fight? Oh, actually, it's gonna trade 1 for 1 there. Splash gets 2. Nacho himself.
Yeah, the Kitsune Rush now on the board from Fuji, but still, UC is able to stabilize during these ultimates coming in from LSU, and they're able to hold on to the defense for the time being, looking for some more shots, forcing LSU back to spawn.
Yeah, this is actually really tough. That was a 3-ult fight for LSU. They blew through most of that ult bank that they were building up, and they don't really have that much to show for it. The beat is going to be a really great initiation tool if they want to use it that way, or it could be a defensive tool if someone on their team is in a lot of trouble.
So they've got to figure it out. They still got the time on the clock, but you'd like to get it quicker than later as the Nano Boost comes on to the Doomfist of Andog as the die comes through. Reginald's found out with it as it looks like LSU have got the picks that they need off the back of the 2 ultimates they had remaining.
Yep, looks like they're going to be able to continue pushing forward here. That being said, there is enough time for another recontest here from Cincinnati. Nasho's going to swap over onto the Kiriko, going to offer a lot more offensive capability with those kunai. And you're going to be coming in with both DPS ults as well. That overclock that has served FaZe so well throughout this tournament, as well as the Dragon Strike we saw earlier from Chu. Either of these could be fight-winning ultimates for Cincinnati.
Yeah, as they see Ehud's in the back, or was in the back, trying to find out those picks as FaZe now comes in with the overclock, finding 1, finding 2, both DPS ultimates, finding the picks that they need to get that defense back into the favor of University of Cincinnati.
Very well done from UC, understanding where their strengths lied, and just being able to pinch away all of the space for LSU. There was literally nowhere that was safe when you had both the Dragon Strike and the Overclock on the field at the same time, and LSU really had no choice but to die there. So now they're stuck in this awkward situation. I think we have another DC. That's so unlucky. That's so, especially if it's LSU who DC'd again. I think so, because you saw that look from Chu on the screen, like, oh my gosh, what is it this time? So I don't think UC was expecting it. Yes, it is Tarat who is DCing for the side of LSU. The silver lining here is that LSU were actually fairly close to their spawn, so it's not going to take them very long to regroup, and Tarat wasn't even super close to their ultimates. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but I think that we're going to be able to get back into this pretty quick.
Yeah, I think the best thing is I don't think they actually DC'd from the lobby, so they keep that ultimate percentage. They were just probably having a lot of lag, so they wanted to be extra careful, so they didn't DC midst of the fight. But I believe we're getting the readies from both of the teams to head quickly back into this. But looking at the ultimates right now, Dividing, who do you have winning this next fight out?
It's going to be a tough one for LSU, because really all that you're working with right now is the pulse bomb from Splash. If you're able to get an opening pick, that's awesome. But if that misses, or if it goes on to Andog and doesn't get a pick, then you have the Meteor Strike and the Valkyrie to be able to sustain you through this next fight. It really does just kind of come down to Splash being able to hit a stick, and that's a nice one on the FaZe.
That's a nice one indeed, and in the midst of that, E2 also got the pick on the Chu, so they're able to get a pick without needing an ultimate. Now they've got it very close to end of second. If they can finish this out, they've got this in the bag. They've got some more time to go to get to this third point, and it does seem to be the case to continue. Tarat, after the, oh my goodness, what's up? I couldn't do that, but they were able to get that point off the back of Tarat.
So point C has been unlocked for LSU, but only about 3 minutes on the clock. You look at that right now and you think that's not that bad, but this could easily disappear in the blink of an eye if LSU is not careful about it. In this next fight, though, they're going to be coming up onto 4 ultimates, everything except for Splash, who just swapped onto that Sojourn. They have a lot of power.
Yeah, it's looking good right now. Chu also swapped over to Torbjorn for this fight. The Kitsune rush comes out from both of them. Dueling rushes, as we should say, as Tarat finds a pick with that magnetic bomb. It's traded back immediately. Both tanks are now out of this fight. Whoever can find this next fight, it has to be out the back of FaZe, and there it goes. The overclock, finding one, finding 2. Can they find a third? Is that on the board? No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
And it is, but not with the overclock. But FaZe finds 3.
That is absolutely beautiful. This overclock is so powerful, especially when in the hands of a player like FaZe, who is able to hit these rails so consistently. As now the time bank for LSU again, we thought it was going to be so much, but after one fight, the time bank is dipping under Cincinnati, so you're going to have less time no matter what. If you finish it all, this Meteor Strike has to get a pick, and FaZe is down. That's a really great target prioritization.
Yeah, and then they're finding N-Dog out of the fight as well. It's looking good. LSU have got the team kill, the team wipe. They didn't get the official team kill, but they got that cart moving a little bit more.
Shu has the Molten Core, though, which is going to be a really nice zoning tool when UC decides to re-engage. They do have to touch, but they do have the people available to do it, and yes, they are going to be able to get back on. FaZe is down, but a lot of lava covering the ground.
Yeah, the Molten Core on the board, and it's still not looking good, though. Okay, it is traded back immediately afterwards, but after that nice headshot from Splash on the Chew, they've still got to figure something out. It's down to 40 seconds here on the board. Does LSU have the tools to do this? It doesn't look like it at the moment as the pause comes through.
No. It just keeps happening. It's tough. I think they have the setting on where it's just like if someone's ping spikes too hard, it just automatically pauses, which is fair. But it seems like it's tough. Yeah, both teams are immediately saying R. So yeah, I think that's what's going on, is that there's a little bit of ping spikes going on right now, and then the lobby just decides, oh, someone's DCing, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and pause right now because that's what the computer does for us. But this is still a super important fight. 40 seconds left. This is probably the last really good fight here for LSU. They are working with basically right now just the overclock from Splash. You have the beat from Base Rhythm coming up in a little bit. Oh, there's the DC. Okay, not R anymore. But we have the ult. That's actually kind of big because Fuji was actually fairly close to that Kitsune Rush. Was definitely beating Nacho to it, and unless it's in the scrim code that when you reconnect you still have your ult charge, I don't know if you do. That's actually pretty big. I think Fuji was at about 60%. That could be difficult, especially when you're playing into the Meteor Strike and the beat on the other side.
Well, this is quite the conundrum.
Yeah.
Can they figure this out? They had an uphill battle and to go into this, obviously, with N-Dog having that Meteor Strike available and Reginald having the sound barrier available for them. Not having that Kitsune Rush coming up, if it's not there, could be the difference maker in the entire end of this, and that would be terrible if that's the reason they lose. We'll see if
I honestly don't know if they get the. I don't know what the scrim code is, so I don't know if you get it back or not. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. LSU are just gonna have to work with what they've got, and what they do have for sure is the overclocking. Yeah, Fuji's ult charge does in fact reset. That is gonna be tough. I think you probably would have had it up at some point in this fight if Fuji did not DC. That sucks. Oh, but Fuji is dead. So you know what? Maybe either way you would have been in a tough situation. Well, I don't know if you can still hear us, but our stream has frozen, and it's back.
It's back, and Bass Rhythm went with it. As this should be all but over here. I don't think there's a way for them to touch. E2 going down. As the Splash was right there, but Cincinnati take the map and the series and are continuing to move on through the losers bracket here. But we have to say farewell, LSU. This is where it ends, and I feels really bad because of
I mean, at the end of the day, we didn't see how the first half of that fight went down because of unfortunate freezes on our end. But when it came back and it looked like Cincinnati was in full control of the fight, I don't think the Kitsune Rush would have actually mattered. It was over so quickly, I don't think you would have even had it available. This was Cincinnati just winning straight up the Doom v Doom, had the better aggressive dive to start off that fight. And because of that, LSU, even with the ults that they had, they didn't really have a chance, unfortunately.
But that's it for them for the LAN. Thank you for coming out here.
Of course.
That's definitely a drive coming up from Louisiana. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing out for the University of Kentucky LAN, trying to make this a bigger thing.
And getting that win over South Florida is definitely something that you can hang your hat on, right? That's a team that beat you a couple weeks ago in the qualifiers, came back, got the win against them. If I was them, I'm feeling really, really happy about what I did there. Ooh, so we got ourselves.
Ball State lost.
Ball State lost to Miami, Ohio.
Oh my goodness.
That is when we started this, that game was still ongoing when we started. So Miami beats Ball State, moves on to the winter semifinals. That is a match that was a true 50-50.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Well, there you go.
they had to
So either way, regardless of what happened, it was a Miami, Ohio win. And they will continue moving forward. And it looks like we've got right. So when it comes to the losers bracket, things are still kind of moving on a little bit slowly. Cincinnati Red, congratulations. You're our first team moving on to round 3 of the losers bracket. They will await the Battle of Ohio State on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we're going to head to a little break here while we finish the end of the round 2 of losers brackets. And so we'll see you right after this. Do not go anywhere. More Overwatch action right after this.
It has been a long, exciting day here at the University of Kentucky Invitational LAN Spring 2023, and we've got one more incredible game to bring to you all. My name is Dividing, joined, of course, by Josh Joker's Ransom, and I will say Sam cannot be here for the rest of the day because he is playing in Open Division right now, so you've got us, you've got our wonderful faces to bring you in as we get ready to go into this next game. It's a game that we've been looking forward to all day, and both these teams coming in with the intent to win. But if you want to win at the game of life and earn up to $21 an hour, go to upsjobsky.com. Shout out to UPS for sponsoring this event and making this all possible.
That was a great segue, Dividing. Thank you.
I'm very proud of that.
I'm very proud of that for you too. But this is the matchup we were waiting for all day long. We've got Maryville on the central stage facing off against CIU Rams here as well. And we're starting out on one of the newer maps in Overwatch. We've got Antarctic Peninsula.
No, one of the newer, it's the newest one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if Shambali or Antarctic.
No, this is the newest map, brand new in the game with this season. I will say, of all of the control maps, this is one seems to lend itself a little more towards Brawl more than some other maps, control maps. We see a lot of times these maps are like, oh, you can play a lot of different kinds of things. Especially when we get onto this map, Icebreaker, it's like one of the more open of the 3, but even that has like this really nice little like enclave here where the point actually is, so you can really make a Brawl comp work, and that's exactly what Maryville is going to say. By the way, Maryville is here.
Yeah.
We got into the game so fast we didn't even talk about it. This is the #1 seed, the only team to go undefeated in the qualifiers, the de facto #1 team that is here this weekend, and this is our first time seeing them on stream.
I mean, maybe not even just #1 team here, maybe #1 collegiate team in the country. That may be up to debate with Redbirds and them, but Redbirds isn't here, so we're going to say they are the de facto #1 team in the country at the moment.
They're #1 in my heart.
They're #1
this
in our
weekend.
Hearts. Right now,
we're
showing up well.
bye.
This tree comes in with a 2-piece already, taking out the Pharmacy of Zest and of Winter. As Maryville start off strong.
I mean, we watched Tree absolutely destroy Overwatch League teams over the course of Pro-Am last week, so I guess it's pretty fair to say that, hey, when you got Winter and Zest over here on the Pharmacy, that is nothing for Tree's Cassidy, already halfway up to that Deadeye.
Yeah, as they're going to look to try to do something, try to deal with this Maryville squad, with the Pharmacy, looking for it, as they do find King out of that fight with that far of Zest. Kisaki does go down in the midst of all of that, though, so they're still at a little disadvantage. Not having your Wrecking Ball right now is crucial for CIU at the moment, and a nice shot comes through. But they get it back. They get the pulse bomb kill on to Tree as well. So it's still anyone's point at the moment. Nice slam coming in. They're trying to take out Sirius, and they do. They get that pick. Benji is coming in clutch for CIU right now, and they're still looking to get this point unlocked. Can they find any more? They're getting chased down, though, by King here. In the backline, the Tracer 1v1. It's going to be taken away by Juby. The pulse goes down. Zest with 2. This still is very winnable for CIU right now.
Yeah, extremely winnable, but they still haven't flipped the point yet. You're just left with the Wrecking Ball and the Pharmercy, and with that, you really don't have much point presence. Finally, with the Mines, Kaseki's gonna get there, but that was just a roll-through. Still, you have all of these members of CIU that are just floating around the point. They can't get on there proper, and because of that, that percentage just keeps ticking up for the Saints.
Yeah, and that I fighting out Winter and almost all of Zest. The follow-up was there. Maryville continuing to assert their dominance on this first control point.
Yeah, and now we're starting to get that patented Maryville spawn camp, as now all of a sudden the Saints decide, hey, we got 95%. We can just make sure that they don't get to touch the point at all. Winter tried to get away with the Valkyrie. Tree says you are going nowhere, and that is Maryville with a 100-0 victory to start off the series. What a tone setter.
Yeah, I mean, what better way to set the tone here? And we've talked about the 3 already, and serious, we haven't even mentioned Juby is on this roster. It's just crazy. But I mean, just the names are who's who in Tier 2 and even Tier 1 Overwatch.
False and King were on Vancouver.
Juby was on Houston a year. It was Season 4. Season 3 or Season 4? I'm not sure.
I think it was Season 3.
One of the 2. But
wait. Nah, I don't even remember. I'm so sorry.
But again, it's just this star-studded roster coming out from Maryville here.
Yeah, and immediately, I mean, the Pharmercy was like the specialty of the Rams, and immediately that just gets shut down by the Cassidy of Tree. As we head now on to, I believe this is Labs. Yeah, this is Labs, which is a bit more closed in, which is why we see the Ramatra coming out from CIU. They're going to go away from the Pharah this time around, but King is going to get around to the side, take down How's Your Day.
Yeah, that's going to be a big pick. Not having that speed boost available any longer. CIU trying to stay up and close together, trying to get this first capture on the point. They get the EMAC on the pulse, which is huge as well. But King's still working their magic on the Tracer, finding another pick. False, finding Kisaki out of the fight in their baby diva form as well. Benji finding a nice shot, but it's not going to be enough to change the tide of this fight. It's Maryville take this first fight.
Very nicely done, and again, very patient from Maryville. They understood, hey, we can allow CIU to take first point control. They have a little bit better point presence with the Ramatra and with the Mei, so let them take it, and then we can use all of our different angles of control to just descend down on them. Is False going for a remake kill here?
Oh, no.
They're going to speed in the diva for the remake.
Oh, they get it! Oh, gets the pick up to Winter, but they might have lost the fight because of it. But hey, they're laughing. I mean, you gotta love it, but they do, in fact, lose the fight in the end because of it. But still, they might be able to turn it now. King's already found How's Your Day.
That is one of the funniest things ever. Weaponizing the remake as an actual play is crazy from Maryville. It just shows how much fun that they're having with this one. But you do have to get back in the game here. CIU currently have the point. The high noon from Tree has to contend with the amplification matrix on the other side, but has no problem picking apart the Rams one by one. Go the Saints. Take the point right back.
Yeah, they take the point back in the end, and I think this is going to be their, I thought that was their reaction to getting Remax killed, but that's it. There's the Deadeye coming in for Tree there as we're looking at this fight here. The Annihilation is actually out on the other side of the stream, but not going to be able to find any good value with it as King going wild on the Tracer yet again, finding 2 picks there.
we're up pretty far, aren't we? They just use the Ant Matrix and spawn, basically. We didn't see that, but my goodness, yeah. Go ahead, take a seat, King. You can tell Maryville just having fun right now. They know winners finals are on the cards. If they can take down CIU right here, you have to deal with 3 ults right now.
Yeah, it was almost a really clean pulse bomb coming in from King there as the Blizzard's out from CIU. If they can lock up someone, find a pick. They got the stick for the magnetic bomb. They found Pulse out of the fight, which is huge. Can they find some more picks is the real question, though. They still have to deal with the rest of Maryville, and they're getting the picks on to a couple of other people. Tree's still alive, though, finding a pick with that magnetic bomb. They've got the Deadeye available as well. Can they go down? They do. They go down. Zest finds that pick, and they're going to be able to get that flip on at 99% of CIU.
Very nicely done from CIU. They actually get to hang on to the Ant Matrix. Winter doesn't have to use it just yet, so you're able to keep that tool for when Maryville tries to engage next. But you have another Deadeye from Tree. You have the Annihilation from Falls. You're almost up to another Pulse Bomb from King. Oh, but you've lost Juby, so you've lost your speed. You can't re-engage.
That's a nice pick as Kisagi finds False as well. Man, it's looking good now. They're getting these fight wins that they're looking for. They're building up more percentage. They're trying to build up to some more ults here as well as it's looking better and better for CIU now.
Yeah, now up to 70%, but again, Maryville are building up a wealth of ultimates, everything except for the beat, and honestly, Juby's probably going to get up that last 25% over this next fight. This is last fight territory, though. This Blizzard from Zest has to be incredibly impactful if CIU want to take us to a round 3.
Yeah, the ults are coming out in droves from Maryville. The Deadeye finding How's Your Day. The Blizzard coming in from Zest, but this is not going to lock up anyone besides Sirius, as this should be Maryville to win, and they are going to feign that fight win, and the overtime bar ticks away as Maryville takes map number 1.
That is the number 1 seed, looking like a number 1 seed right there. The Maryville Saints walk in and just state their authority on the newest map in the game, Antarctic Peninsula. Fantastic job from the Saints, which, by the way, I call them the Saints. It should be noted that Maryville University as a team is separate from Saints, the contenders team. Maryville, as this is a collegiate event, they are bound by the collegiate restrictions. So, you know, CJ and Vega and Squid, they don't actually go to Maryville University. They're players that were picked up for the contenders team. That's why we see Juby and Cyrus there instead. Still an incredibly strong backline. Definitely did their job in that first map.
I mean, substituting Juby and Sirius in for CJ and Vega, just incredible. I mean, you have those two for contenders, but then you come back to collegiate, you still have an incredible backline as well. But right now, we're still looking for something to change here. CIU is opting to go to Blizzard World here, dividing. What does that mean for them? Can they figure something out on this map?
We talked a little bit about Blizzard World last map, and I will say it does give a little bit of space for the Pharah if Zest wants to go that way. I just don't think you want to go that way when Tree is on the other side. I think Tree showed that they are very capable of being able to just pick those Pharahs out of the sky. Not just capable, was doing it effortlessly until Zest finally had the use of Barrage and just swap off. You can't play the Pharah into Maryville. You just can't. You're not going to win. Instead, it's probably going to be more of kind of a dive composition. We might be seeing some more kind of Wrecking Ball comps, maybe some Sombra comps, try to disrupt the rhythm of the Saints and figure out someone to isolate from there. But still, I mean, I love CIU. You love CIU.
I do.
We have made it very clear that this is a team that we are looking out for to go far. Going up against Maryville is just such a tall order.
Yeah, and that definitely showed. I think at their best, they can definitely take a map off of them. It's just, can they play at their absolute best for the entirety of the map? And that's a tall order. Especially if Maryville's having a little bit of an off day. They're still one of some of the top, probably the top 50 players in the world.
Yeah, I would say that.
But we're headed into to Blizzard World here, and it's not raining anymore. Weird. But I mean,
What? You don't like a sunny day? You're spending too much time in New York?
I'm just confused because I thought it would just be one thing, but no, I guess that's not how that works. But right now, we're seeing Maryville on the defense, and you know we haven't seen any teams swap sides throughout this tournament so far, at least on stream. But they've got a pretty nice composition.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm actually really interested because Zest is not going with the Pharah, and so they're going to go with the Echo. That gives you a lot more maneuverability in the air compared to the Pharah. And Tree, instead of going for the Cassie, is going for the Hanzo, which again, very potent, could very easily take out the Echo. It's not a hit scan though, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Might give Zest a little bit more time to get some work done on this Echo.
Yeah, as Juby on the Zenyatta here, looking for some sights down range to get that those volley headshots to take them out. But that Discord orb is the real damage dealer that we will be seeing from them as they're still rotating around the point, looking for an opening. Is CIU at the moment, but they're caught out by the sonic arrow of Tree. They're still rotating around. They were taking a rig around the rosy here, Devin, and still waiting for that fight to begin. And finally, they're going to get on the point, but they're going to lose Kisaki's mech, but they do trade it out. Winter finds Juby, and Benji finding the 1v1 kill on the King is huge as well.
Don't you
Tree's
dare.
still alive, finding that nice shot, but it's looking good. CIU have the upper hand in this fight right now, and they're getting capture percentage on the point, and I think they might be able to get this first point pretty quickly here.
Very well done, and honestly, it was all just down to players winning 1v1s. Winter got the pick on the Juby, Benji got the pick on to King, and that's just what you're going to have to do to play against Maryville and win, is that you can have all of these well thought out strategies and be think about it as much as you can, but eventually it's all going to come down to execution. You've got to beat the players at Maryville at their own games, and that's what we saw in that first fight. A really promising first fight from CIU. They unlocked the point extremely quickly, and they do have a Nano ready. They have the Pulse Bomb up as well, but there is a Nano on the other side from, actually, Nano, Pulse Bomb, and Dragon Strike on the other side. So Maryville, I'm sure, is still feeling very good about their positioning.
Yeah, definitely, as they're going to probably initiate. Yeah, there goes the Dragon Strike, as well as the Nano Boost onto Juby here. Looking for the picks. Can we get that? Only finding how's your day, but still forcing back CIU for the time being there, forcing them to go back to spawn with those picks.
Yeah, and now here comes the spawn camp once again. Maryville really loves to bring the pressure. It's all about the mental game for them and just making sure that the other team feels as trapped as humanly possible. King does still have the Pulse Bomb, but come in and use it whenever you want to, but eaten by Kaseki. Very well done by the D.Va player from the Rams, able to take one ult out of the fight, and now CIU can come in with 4 ults of their own.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. Now they're going to come in looking for probably Juby, who's kind of alone there. But for the moment, they're still waiting to find more damage. Pulse is super low, so they're going to have to back up for the time being.
Yeah, you can tell that Maryville are giving the Rams the respect that they deserve right now. But Benji goes in just a little bit too far. Zest's got to get a lot done with this Nano.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage coming out. The self-destruct coming in from False here as well. But Kisaki finds them before they can get back into the mech. The self-destruct coming in from themselves. Not going to find anything either. As Tree now comes in, finding 1, finding 2, make it 3, drop them down. Tree, as they're going to find another 4-piece. 4 players down for Tree there.
And that sucks, because it seems like CIU did just about everything right, and then Tree just walks up behind them, effortlessly takes down 3-4 players, and it's just like, what do you even do when there's like TPS like that on the other side of the screen? Sometimes he's just going to win a fight for Maryville, and you just have to deal with it. And now Maryville They're going to get set up on these high grounds extremely well. They have 4 ultimates, everything except for the Diva Bomb coming up. CIU, though, they have 3 of their own with the Transcendence and the Copy. Zest goes on to Diva.
Yeah, there's the Dragon Strike coming out from Copy there. Like you said, from Zest on to Diva. They're going to have that self-destruct up early on, but they're going to be dealt with in that baby Diva form. The DMAC coming in on the false. They're still looking for a first real kill in the fight. They found both mechs, but there it is. How's your day goes down to a nice headshot from Tree in the end. The pulse bomb gonna come out. No, Benji not gonna need it in the end to take out Juby, but in the end, Maryville continuing their dominance with that team count.
100 seconds left on the clock, and now that ult bank that was looking so strong for CIU and the time bank that was looking so strong, both of which are dwindling. We need to see them win these 1v1s like they did to take point A, or else it's only... Oh my god! I can't get a sentence off before Tree gets another kill. It is absurd what this guy can do.
I looked away. That was disgusting coming in from Tree there, taking out Zest before the fight even began, buying them more time.
Yeah, more time. Gonna take down a minute off the clock now. This could very easily be the last real fight for CIU now, and you're really only working with the Pulse Bomb from Benji when it comes to ultimates, and even if it gets a stick on the, say, Juby, you have the Transcendence ready for it.
Yeah, as they're looking here, Benji goes super low, has to use that recall early on in this fight, and they're still low. Anti-nades coming in from Cyrus, cutting on to 3. That's so low still. They're looking to continue to push this card forward. They haven't lost to anyone, but it's down to 30 seconds. Like you said, this is probably the last fight, and losing Zest right there is not what you wanted to do. Is the Dragon Strike now coming out. Sirius finds another one with the Ana, and that should wrap things up if they find this DMAC onto Kisaki.
Yeah, DMAC on the Kisaki, 10 seconds left on the clock. There really aren't very many fast players on CIU either. No one's going to be able to get back to the point in time. Unfortunately, it is just going to end with a whimper for the Rams. 1 point and 86 meters is what they're going to get, and winners finals has been set for the Maryville Saints. All they have to do is outdo 1 point, 86.87 meters. And they'll be moving on to face, I think, either... Oh man, I don't even remember. It's either Miami or Converse in the winners finals,
which will be playing tomorrow because they have a lot of players in open division.
Yes.
So this is our last game on stream, by the way. Should let you guys know that. But right now, I mean, we just saw Tree's a replay of Tree again.
Yeah.
This kid's disgusting.
Insane.
We've been known this kid's disgusting, and he's just waiting to be eligible for OWL at this moment.
Not only is Tree waiting, like, half of Overwatch League teams are waiting.
Everyone's ready to sign him with a blank check.
I wouldn't be shocked if there are teams that already have a contract written up for Tree, so the second he becomes eligible, you can send it over. Like, that is how hot of a prospect Tree is just in the Overwatch League and competitive field right now. It is absolutely insane and continues to prove it over and over and over again. But that being said, you can't also, like, King has had his moments as well. Juby has been doing really well. Cyrus has been doing a really good job keeping everyone alive. I really, like, this is a really complete team that Maryville has put together this season. Even though Tree is obviously, like, the star DPS player, you gotta give it up to the entire Maryville team, because if it was just Tree might actually make this competitive, but you wouldn't be able to win with just Tree.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you need 5 players to field a competitive roster. But other than that, right now, the fight's coming out. They're looking to start things off. They've already got Kiseki so low in the mech here as Tree finds a shot with the arrows, the storm arrows. Taking Benji out, as well as Zest going down, as this should be a quick wrap-up for Maryville in this first fight.
Very, very quick there for Maryville. Even quicker than it took a CIU up to this point. And so, as we start heading towards what could be the last map of the day here on stream, there's 5 minutes and 30 seconds for Maryville to go just a few more meters and secure themselves a spot in the winners finals. And they're going to have the Pulse Bomb already available from King, and no defensive abilities really on the other side to counter it.
Yeah, I'm sure King is just waiting to see Winter alone or How's Your Day alone just to find that Pulse Bomb stick and finish things off. But hey, again, you might not need it because Tree's just doing Tree things yet again, finding a headshot onto Benji, the Tracer, one of the smallest hitboxes in the game, and going to be able to find the headshot from already as they're continuing to push forward here. Still not using anything as the Nano Boost comes in here onto King, finding picks, but it's all going to be False's kills as they're going to be able to take them down. And I think that the red carpet is there for them. To the winners final they go. Maryville take the map and the series.
What an overall just complete performance from the Saints. Throughout everything that we saw from CIU earlier on in this series, and how you said, oh, these are like this is my dark horse team to go far. Maryville just showed up and stamped out everything. Like this, Maryville obviously came in as the team to beat, and they have proven it here on stream. They are a force to be reckoned with, and they are coming for that crown. I guess it's a trophy. It's not a crown.
I think the only one that can really even maybe stand a chance is the number 2 seed in Converse, and we'll have to see that tomorrow if they happen to make it to the winners final, because that's not being played right now because of Open Division. That's going to be played tomorrow morning. Converse University versus Miami University of Ohio. But that's where they are. They're in the semifinals waiting for those two teams to duke it out in the morning as we take a look at the losers bracket as well here. University of Cincinnati Red and Ohio State University of Scarlet, I believe, are being played right now on the B stream, which is, I believe, UKY Esports.
Correct.
On Twitch. Make sure to go check that out. I believe we're probably going to raid them if they're still live after this. And there they are. As Maryville for the gracious victors, because every time they're winning, they'll come over to the team. Make sure to give them a handshake.
Give them a handshake,
and that's what you love to see. It might be about the victory for some people, but the sportsmanship, the camaraderie that we see in these LANs, I finally got there, that we see at these LANs is what makes them even 10 times better.
Yeah, absolutely. Just being able to see the players on the other side of the field and being like, those are the guys we're playing against. There's a level of respect and I'm trying to think of a word that's not camaraderie, but there's a level of a connection that you feel when you're playing with people in person rather than like in ranked online. And that is really what LANs give people. And honestly, a beautiful space University of Kentucky has offered up to give us this kind of event. So of course, thank you to the University of Kentucky for hosting. I think that was our last game of the day on stream.
I mean, other than that, shout out to sponsors, Gen G, HyperX, UPS. And I think that's really about it for us here dividing. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
Bright and early in the morning yet again. But if you're on the Twitch chat, stick around. I believe we're going to raid the B stream if it's still live. But that's it for us on the A stream. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and come back tomorrow for the conclusion of the UKY LAN.